Welcome back to this nightmare of a series. Today we're just going to be trying to get another world going. Long term, you never know which one's going to work out the best. And, of course we get a spawn in an icy biome. So I'll start freezing to death immediately. Always fun. We're just going to be getting the basic start, grabbing rocks and such, running around, and we find a nice pre-generated house structure. These houses do spawn with armor, wool, and some food. I'm probably not going to live here just because it's in the icy biome, and freezing to death is worse than having a free house. That wool is particularly helpful though because you can make healing materials out of it. So after a while, we have the basic start that you've already seen before. We run into 2 geonatches. These guys will spawn in no matter what. When you're mining ore, it just has I think it's like a 1 in 20 roll of spawning one of these guys every ore you break. I could be wrong about that. But we get super unlucky and 2 spawn at the same time. And a Reaper spawns in when you kill one of them. These Reaper guys have a chance to spawn in on any enemy that you kill no matter what. And after some more time running around, we find a dragon. Very fun. I see this Aerosaur getting souffled, so I don't want to be the next one up. I decide to pick up shop and run away. And unfortunately, the clip from me getting killed by that dragon was corrupted, and I couldn't get it. So unfortunately, we just have to go into the next world, which we spawn into an amazing area right next to a green dragon. And I think you can guess what happens here. Fun. Okay, on to the next world. And we're dead already. I'm having a great time. Okay, next world. Of course, an not icy, but a stony hills biome with a lot of snow in it. Make my way out into a village. And thankfully, we have a blacksmith here, so we can smelt down all the armor for some free iron early game. Making flint and steel and all that stuff is how I usually grind levels. Because fighting is a little too dangerous for me when I don't have any armor available to me. In this mod pack, you have to have at least 20 levels to get to iron armor use, which is unfortunate, but it just is what it is. So after getting some torches and getting my levels up, I run down, strip mine, and am immediately killed by an underground lion. Fun. Alright, let's try this again. And a dragon. Amazing. Okay, next world. So we spawn in to a beautiful oak acacia kind of biome right next to a village. So this isn't too bad of a playthrough. At least the temperature isn't killing me. And in this village there's a nice blacksmith kind of armory. Unfortunately, I can't use any of this stuff. I'm not high enough level. They have a infestation right there. And not even 20 minutes into the gameplay, I am mining stone and I get jumped by 2 banshees. The villagers' guardians don't seem to be doing much help, and I am cornered because of the fear effect, and I die. That fear effect will make you move erratically in directions that you're not controlling, and it's just one of the Lycanite's effects that are kind of unfair to deal with most of the time. So next world we spawn into a lake, into a nice oak biome. One of the better spawns because the temperature doesn't start killing you. I travel about, get the main set, you already know that, and I find a dungeon. Of course, I stupidly try to farm out all the zombies and immediately am jumped by a couple of a Geist and an enchanted zombie spawns right thereafter. So, on to mining, still in the same playthrough. Of course a geonatch spawns on me. He's not too much of an issue though. These guys are quite easy to deal with at this point. Once you have iron tools... Oh. Well, on to the next world. So, we spawn into an acacia biome, quite nice. And I've sped this up because this playthrough doesn't last very long. Instantly killed by a blaze. On to the next. We spawn into a nice dark oak biome. We're immediately greeted with a Medusa set piece, that little stone ceiling you saw there earlier. Crafting some earplugs because there are sirens over there on the rock, if you see to the left of the screen, and I see a zombie get murdered by a witch. And I decide to leave that alone. Making a small little hut in the side of the forest, I smelt some stuff down. And after getting a little bit of materials and levels, I decide to leave because there's not much here for me. So after boating around a bit, I find a nice area to set up a shop. Just place down a little house. Once again, just dark oak, just really basic, making sure I can at least not die if I'm inside of the house. Accidentally using wool to smelt that food down, not too much of an issue. So I get enough levels to use full iron armor, and I press forward, feeling like I'm a little safer. Unfortunately, this iron armor doesn't do very much to protect me, as you will see in a minute. But at least there's one positive. I do find a set piece that has lapis blocks on the roof, so you can mine those out. And lapis blocks are very useful for later on in the game when you have gold, because you make rings that'll give you status effects that'll heal you, or give you speed or jump boosts, just general long-term effects that will consistently give you some strength when you're fighting enemies. So, learning no lessons from my previous deaths, I run into this dungeon, and I get up to the 3rd floor when I encounter an enchanted skeleton. And instead of running away like a smart person, I instead try to attack it. He has the ninja feat, and he kills me instantly. Amazing. Next world. Also, I'm not trying to die. I seem to not learn anything from my mistakes, and I just keep getting killed by the same thing over and over. I run into a joust. I forget if these guys were peaceful or not, and they obviously are. So I just decided to crouch around and run away from them. And this desert spawn isn't that bad. What? This looks like a dungeon, so I am just not going to deal with that. Awkward world loading aside, let's just ignore it. Oh, a waystone. That's neat. Okay, on to the next thing. So we get some stone, make the basic tool set, and I found an acacia area where I can set up a little sleeping area just to calm down a little bit from all the traveling, make my weapons, and get situated. I find a little zombie spawner, not really a dungeon, more just like a area you can get some easy levels at, because these are usually only zombies, and zombies usually aren't that difficult. So I jump up to the top, immediately get flung by a zombie, and once again, not learning anything from my past mistakes. Instead of running away from this enchanted zombie that could instantly kill me if he wanted to, I instead decide to fight him. Thankfully, I don't instantly die, but I do find a little friend flying in the sky, so I decide to leave after that. I have enough sense to leave dragons alone, but apparently I never learned my lesson from these little enchanted zombie guys. So after a while of traveling, I find a village that's pretty nice. Fairly large, and I can loot a couple of things from it. After leaving that village, because there wasn't too much interesting in there, I find a pirate ship. Thankfully, these guys are pretty blind and they can't shoot that far, and I am prepared with a bow. So I take my time, snipe all of them down, so I can loot the ship, and unfortunately this stuff doesn't last too long. After going through the trouble of making a backpack so I can have some more storage, I continue on, leaving that boat, and I find a cool little pre-made house for me to live in. I decided to stay here for a while just because there's a bed, a chest, and it's away from pretty much anything. The temperatures are pretty good, and access to other biomes is nice. And once again, I find a dungeon, I wonder what's going to happen here. So I'm fighting some skeletons. These enchanted items are dropped by the enchanted mobs. They're pretty strong comparatively to what you have in the main game. But I see the skeleton, and instead of using my long-range spear, I decide to throw a tomahawk at it.